Margaret in Windsor, and I wanted to finish this video I just put up uh, about Victor Gonzalez. He's a child psychiatrist, and I just put one up, so this will be number two. I wanted to say this so that you get a gist of what's involved. This is my father, Edward VIII, who married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist George O'Keefe from Madison, Wisconsin. He never married Wallace Simpson. She married an impostor, a double, and it was a takedown of my father, the King of England, because he wouldn't go along with the Illuminati. He was his own man, and this is the repayment he got. History is a total lie. It's character assassination. And his brother is an illegal monarch, and he helped in my kidnapping and taking down my dad. My God, everybody knew that he was married to my mom. She was queen in December before he was forced to abdicate. And anyway, there was an attachment, an addendum, to the forced abdication that stated if he had an heir, the heir would inherit. The day I was born in 39, and this is a year with Roosevelt, and this is Elizabeth's mother, and this is Roosevelt's mother, and this is George the illegal six, Elizabeth's mom, and Eleanor Roosevelt. And Eleanor was very much a part of all this, as was Roosevelt, my kidnapping and all of it. Kennedy's JFK. His dad was ambassador appointed by Roosevelt, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds that control your media. Now I'm going to turn this around. I was doing this video, and I uploaded it, about Victor Gonzalez. He's a child psychiatrist in Atlanta, Georgia, and I believe he's out in Marietta now. He's still in practice. And I don't know how old he is. He's probably about 79 or 80 years old right now. He and Beecham was a part of trying to have me killed too, Dr. Beecham, at West Paces Ferry back April Fool Day of 80. And he's still in practice. So anyway, I want to get to this. A lot has come out about the sexual allegations against a lot of celebrities and politicians. I've spent my life fighting to have a civil right. And I did a book, MD A License to Kill, and it was about mind control murders. I'd worked for doctors, and I started finding out about mind control murders, and Larry Flint was one of them, where it was a program shooter. There's a whole list of them that can be proven that are done in patterns. Now I want to jump to this. It's who I am, not the book. I thought it was the book, and that was part of it, because when they were trying to finish me off, on April Fool Day, Beecham told me, you got to stop what you're saying about these doctors. Well, one of them, Larry McDonald, congressman doctor, went down into the plane, shot down the KAL, August 31st of 83, from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. Supposedly he was killed, and there was a special election to fill his unused terms. It was just a couple of months. Anyway, Larry Flint flew me out to his home in Bel Air and helped support me, and that's the first time I'd met Mr. Flint. However, I knew the murders were done in patterns. And I want to jump to this, though. I put it up on the first, so I'm going to video just now. So I'm going to just finish it with this, if I can get it up. Oh, this is connected to the Watergate tapes that I've put up. In 80, after they almost killed me, Fred Simpson, I worked in his office, district attorney, Madison County, Huntsville, Alabama. And they did a role-playing of the Watergate tapes, and I started remembering then some of this. And I'll go and say this. How many times Rohypnol was used on me, or knockout, whatever, was, I went back to Gonzalez's office that night, and I walked in. The door was open, lights were on. I walked in, and I heard him laughing and giggling in the door behind there. It was him and Kathy, and she was supposed to be helping him in therapist, and come to find out, her father was Gonzalez's mentor. He was head of psychology, I believe I'm right. I know I am. And Gonzalez has got his best buddy from Tulane, his daughter Kathy, on the floor, and they're having sex. So I stood there and saw him when I opened the door. So he gets up and comes and he starts hitting me, and she comes out and said, "Don't you hit her." Well, I don't know if he hypnotized me. Hypnosis is used in all this, and it's not just doctors that use it. But anyway, long story short, I went numb. I couldn't walk. He stuck me in my car, and it was almost like I couldn't move. I was just in and it's dark by this time. I drove out. How I got out there, it was Terrell Mill. It's where Warren and Rosina Matthews, the forensic pathologist, were killed later. I believe it was a little bit later than then, yeah. And it was a mind control. People were under mind control, and it was prosecuted. And I don't want to get off on that. This got to be a joke, the prosecution. But anyway, there was a black guy, and there was Smokey Stover, I believe, that I later worked for and could not. I didn't remember him at the time. And well, he was a good guy in it. But I'm not going to. They blocked me into a dead end is what they did, and I'm not going to say what went on. After that they meant to kill me. And I remember the black guy said, "You going to kill her?" to Smokey, and he said, "No, I'll take the blame. You're not going to kill her." But they were going to do it. Smokey wasn't. And forgive me, I know it was Smokey Stover. Because I later worked for him and I could remember about him. So about that time, though, somebody drove up, and this is dead end at Terrell Mill Estates, and parked with the lights on they weren't going away. So they were getting their tag number. Well, the car did then, after it got the tag number, it drove up and started turning away slow. Well, by that time, these characters, killers, and there's no name for them, were trying to leave. And I was trying to get in my car and follow this guy out because I knew he had helped me. Anyway, I'm not going to tell all that happened. I ended back up at Gonzalez's office. And he asked me, did I want a cup of coffee? And I said, yes. And he handed me a cup of coffee. And all I can remember is he had a Delta car, Oldsmobile then. He stuffed me in the car. I couldn't move. I knew what was going on. But this is where I've told it a lot, at the trolley tracks in College Park. It was it's a suburb of Atlanta, across from Marietta, or Atlanta, where his office was up at North. Anyway, I had worked there for Forsyth and Kuchar later. North Side. Yeah, it was medical buildings where I was at when he drugged me and took me over there. And on the table, I'm going to leave out, I've already put it up a few times, on the table, I'm this condition, there's a doctor behind me with a mask on. Gonzalez is here, and I'm spread out here. I knew what was going on, and it was terrifying because right across the hall, I could see them. There was about 6 doctors, and a couple of them were women, and they were going to lobotomize me. There was a phone call, and I could hear them talking, and I'd look up, and Gonzalez is standing over me, grinning, and I'm terrified. And if a phone call doesn't come through, with demands, and they're going to lobotomize me. Well, the phone call came through, and I remember Gonzalez again standing over me, grinning. And anyway, I was taken back, I guess, to his office. And I don't remember after what happened. I had to have gone home, to my home. But anyway, I'm telling you the connections there. They will turn loose on me to do anything and everything they wanted to with me and to me and to my children. And there's other things that happen concerning this man, and that's all I can say. I tried to put up for, other than there was a suit filed against him. I went to everybody, the media. I was doing the book. I was trying to get something done because this doctor had told me he had a real pretty girl. I saw her once at least, had beautiful figure. This is not the young 12-year-old and the plastic, and her breasts were big, and God knows what he did to her. It's mine. Well, anyway, yeah. Oh, yeah. I will. I don't know that she died, but he told me he killed two of his patients because they told what he was raping them. Okay. Yeah, he did. So I'm trying to get something done about it and fighting for my life. And my husband was going with me, but I wanted the attorney out in Los Angeles if I could get him. But anyway, the way it went, they had me in such a state by that time that I went along with my husband. He seemed like he was trying to help. And he took me to an attorney he for a company where he was at. But the other was Eugene Kaiser, who is a good man, was a good man. He was a former district attorney in Fulton County, Atlanta. And but the thing was that, I mean, there was nothing. There was a gag order put on it. There was really nothing done other than he got the papers from Hyman Miller, which were later burned about me. Doctor, I forgot who he was in Huntsville. He burned all the records concerning me and helping Hyman Miller. I wonder how many patients Hyman Miller raped. I know he did Peggy Ferguson Lauderdale. I've just put this up. Okay. Gonzalez, there was a suit and there was a gag order put on it, and there was nothing paid. I mean, it was ridiculous. The pain and suffering, there's not enough. Plus, it was diagnosed as murder. I was never, come to find out, I didn't know this back then. I didn't know about being kidnapped. I didn't know that the total diagnosis was a lie from Miller to him. Well, Miller was a Jew, and he knew about who I am and all of it. So it was already pre-staged. Okay, so I started doing the medical malpractice book, and there's a gag order on this little bit of money you can't repay for the damage done to me and my children. Oh, and there was shock. This is what they did to me. And Hyman Miller, it's a wonder I have a brain. So I didn't even know it was an illegal diagnosis. It was ridiculous. So anyway, I'm trying to do the book, and I'm going to fast forward. Larry Flint was shot while I was doing the book. His was done in Patterns, and I'm working for Forsyth, Kuchar, and McCoy. I don't know if you'd actually say I worked for McCoy, but he was in the group, and I was back and forth in there. But anyway, I was doing the book, and the doctors knew I was doing the book, and I have to say, I mean, they were good to me. They let me Xerox. They gave me a letter of reference when I left a year later, and because I was doing the book. So we went to every TV station, Atlanta Journal, everybody over and over. Forrest Sawyer was an investigative reporter for one of the channels, and when I was flown out to Flint's later in '83 in the campaign he helped me in to replace one of the doctors I wrote about, Larry McDonald, he was there, Forrest Sawyer, but suddenly he was pulled. It's kind of like, what's wrong with this picture, you know? And I've told what's happened living on the Appalachian Trail, and at the time, Forrest Sawyer, you can get this, how ludicrous. An FBI agent told me that they made it so ludicrous, everybody knows you're telling the truth, but nobody wants to get involved. They give you a chance, they're given a chance to help or run, and they run. So you got me in the campaign, and for Sawyer, I had been to him with all this, and they actually called me and said, "Yes, your phone's bugged." So I thought that was why the FBI came in because of wiretapping. It wasn't. It was the kidnapping, and I didn't know I'd been kidnapped. And I got a letter from the FBI the 23rd of June, 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. So what's here, you know? I didn't know about being kidnapped. April Fool Day, I was almost killed. I should have died. I, I'm not going to say what was put in me. It's the most horrible thing. Uh, and across the state line, Lina Dempsey, mother of the twins. I was stuffed in the car, my apartment, and children gone. And the talk screen that had gone to West Paces for, finally done in Huntsville by another Bill Goodson Jew with Hyman Miller. And I believe at this time Hyman Miller had died, or he died about that time. And it was scary, but I went to work in that condition. I went to work. It showed what they had put in me. I had copies of it. They let my husband have it, not me, my ex-husband. And he gave it to me. So, Lina Dempsey tried to kill me. The mother of the twins, she thought if the book was published and it got attention, that it would go back to her murdering the twins and who I really am. Oh, so I worked for Fred Simpson, and I don't know what else I need to say here. I've had every sick thing done in the book to me. All because I was born and my father's the good guy. Look what they did to him. He didn't do as what the mafia Illuminati said, so they took him down. They destroyed him with lies, and they took his daughter, me, and my mom and dad were still alive in 86 when I came to Roanoke. I know that, still married and still alive. And the double married Simpson, and he had died in 72, and he's buried at Frogmore, Windsor Castle. I know that there were some more things I wanted to put in here, but you really can't. You can't see the pain and suffering and what they did to my children. I hope that it's laid out before the world to see, and to see who Elizabeth there with her brood that certainly know who my mother is, and she was queen. They know all about it. They helped in it. And she's gotten even more wealthy with my money. It's my money she's using, my home. I'm a pauper and move from place to place homeless. So all this is coming down, and I don't know if mine will be told or not. But this still about 1979. The woman that's spoke out about Roy Moore, who's running for U.S. Senate seat to replace Alabama Senator Sessions, that was appointed U.S. Attorney by President Trump. And now suddenly all these allegations are coming out about him, sexual misconduct with teenagers, etc. I don't know. I'm not going to say I have no way of knowing if it's true or not. It sounds true to me. And I'd hate to call someone, like people have called me liars. And now then that on YouTube, I can't get an attorney, so a friend told me to go to YouTube, and I was already on Facebook, and also I was trying to find my kids, and it was a matter of a way to record it, and my children would hopefully watch YouTube or Facebook and know where to find me, which hasn't happened, okay? So I know I'm jumping back and forth, but all these years I've told about the